Deer in the headlights. Yes, and we are live. We are live. Welcome to the Lynn and welcome to the Lynn and Cheryl show. I'm Lynn Serrano, and you are.
I'm doing better than you today, I think. I'm Sheryl Isenhour.
Oh my goodness,
The mouth
it's
and the brain not on the same planet today.
no. You know why? Because I usually get to spend a little Cheryl time, and I didn't today because you were busy. You're always busy though, so we're gonna be right back after this. Welcome back. I'm, I'm Lynn over here for today.
For today, maybe tomorrow it might be different.
Oh, I know I'm such a character and I can laugh at myself, so I guess that's good entertainment for that, right? So,
Sure.
sure. Well, today we are talking about karma. And let's see. Oh, and we got our Scott Ricard. Always love seeing you, Scott, here. Thank you so much. We love you. So, yeah, today we're going to talk about karma. And while I was waiting for you, I was kind of surfing and doing a little Googling. And maybe I'll start out with these little banners. How's that?
If it works for
Uh,
you, go.
Okay. Well, okay. So here's one, and it says karma. Pleasure and pain comes from your own past actions. So it is easy to define karma in one short sentence. Act well, and things will go well. Act wrongly, and things will go wrong. That's one of the things I found. And then I found this one. Karma. What you put out will come back to you in unexpected ways. Give only what you don't mind getting back. And then the funniest one is this one. Karma. When you use the last of the toilet paper without replacing it, and you are the next person to use the bathroom.
Hey, my favorite one's Karma's a bitch.
Well, my lifetime, I've definitely seen what karma can do. Truly, um, it's something when you do realize that what you do put out, you get back, and you know, you find grace in that. You find, be careful what you say and what you do because everything does come back to you. And I've oh, Theodora's here. Oh, karma is a bitch for sure. Yeah, and you know what? If you're lucky, and I don't even like to say the word lucky, but I will in this point. Is like they say if you're lucky, sometimes you even see karma working. And I have
That's
seen.
what I like. You
Do
know,
tell.
my main thing is don't get mad, get even. And so karma is usually my sister walking right beside me because that's my get even method a lot of times. And there's been a lot of times when I'm hoping karma will come around in my lifetime because I want to see it when it hits them.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Sometimes I find that it's easier to say when things are not going right, or I see people are not treating people right, and things instead of saying something that I may regret. I just sit back and go, you know what? They're gonna get what they gave, and you do, and I think that's why good things happen to bad people, but bad people things happen. They think it's good, but it always comes around. I mean, everything's a season, everything's a you know time and place, and yeah,
I mean,
it's
before karma had a name, it was what goes around comes around.
uh-huh.
So we just gave her a name.
I've met some girls named Karma though, that their mom named them Karma. I would like to know what their mom was thinking when they named them Karma. But
Sometimes they don't think. Maybe they'll figure it out one year. I
yeah,
don't know. The thing about it is, it's just nature. Things happen. I mean, and yeah, we market karma. Okay, we've got to have a name for it. But if people see you treating others bad, they're usually going to treat you bad. It's a lot of your behavior and what people see. It's not fate, it's not anything else. It's just the the fact of if you have a bad soul, you reap bad souls. And that's just the way I feel.
Yeah, and I mean, we're the, we have that negative side to us, but if you let that negative side get to you, it'll come back and bite you in the ass. And don't show ugly, because like they say, God don't like ugly. But then there's karma comes along and takes care of it. And so, yeah, we could spend days and weeks talking about karma, and it still wouldn't do it any justice, because um, people just don't understand that it is, like they say, also, you reap what you sow, right? That's the other thing that they would say a lot. Hi, Bob. Thanks for being here. They say you reap what you sow.
Well, and a lot of people, it comes around, and I think it gets them before we see it.
Hmm.
They either have the money or the statue or something that keeps them out of the negative limelight, but it's happening in the background. I mean, we see that with criminals. We see that with a lot of things that you don't know is a criminal. And yes, it is.
Yes, and speaking of Mr. Jerry, I produce a little show with and with Debbie, I'm a producer, and Jerry's going to be on tonight. So that's a little quick plug on watch. I love Jerry, so I'm going to be in the background trying to make noise faces and stuff at him. He's going to ignore me, but that's
And
okay.
karma may kick you in the butt, girl.
Oh well, that's so what. I still love Jerry.
It may
But
not be Jerry, it may be somebody else.
no.
So,
But yes, karma has there, I mean, there's books and books I could write about karma and what I've seen personally. And you just, it's your reaction. It's how you react to things that, you know, if you're quick to react, um later you might regret that for for all the world to see.
quick's not so bad. I'm quick to react. It's just how you react when you're reacting quick. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't like to argue. So
Yeah.
it's, if you don't argue, you don't say a lot of things that you would say when you're screaming. And there's where karma plays their game a lot of times, is because when you're in that screaming mode, you're going to say things you don't mean. It's going to cut, it's going to hurt. And that's where karma will come back and get you, because you're setting up a wall against yourself.
And I used to do that. I used to do that all the time. I was an angry kid, really upset, and threw dishes and beat up any boy that came near me. I mean, I used to be really, really rough like that, and realize, shit, that don't work. But it takes some people a long time to learn things, and because people are set in their ways. But if they look at what they do, and like Dr. Phil would say, how's that working for you? And if it's not working for you, why do you keep doing it? And and I think everybody can look at their life and look at things that they've done and realize, wow, I got that back. And
The,
I mean,
the
my
bad
ex-husband,
part's when you do it and you're sitting there and say, okay, I screwed up. Karma will bust me. And
yeah,
so, it usually does. So,
yeah. Well, it's just like my ex-husband. I mean, I went through a lot of stuff with him, and he just passed away this year, and I, I feel bad, because everything he ever wanted to happen to me, he got tenfolds. And it's a sad commentary, and there's no way I ever hated him enough to for him to get what he got. And so I've just had the front seat row, you know without even wanting to have popcorn, to just see what karma can do to other people. It When you see it, you're very mindful not to go down that road, because when you judge other people, trust me, you'll be getting judged back. And that's one of the things that I always just checking myself at the door, is learning to look at things and what's the lesson here, and knowing that it's better to see the lesson and not be that way than to worry about what's going to happen to the person being that way.
and the one way to quit worrying about karma is quit doing crap. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and people don't understand. Well, shit, maybe if I'm nice to people, people are going to be nice to me. How about that? So I mean, there's great karma with, and that's why there are people that are always giving. and doing, because they don't worry, because they know that the abundance is there, and you're going to be, you pay things forward and people pay them forward to you. And so karma can be a good thing if you realize, but you got to be genuine about it though too. Don't be like, I'm going to give this to Sheryl even though I want to keep it. I mean, and then I give it to Sheryl. I mean, the thing is, it's like begrudging gets you more begrudging, and it doesn't, it cancels out your good intent. And that's where I think a lot of people go wrong,
Well,
because their intent was not with the good intent.
well, you are your own worst problem. I don't care
Hmm.
what anybody says. Nobody's out there worse than you are on you.
Yes.
So, yeah, did we all have things that happened in the past? Yes, we did. I don't think anything, like you said, with your ex-husband, I don't think you caused any of the problems he had.
No, no,
It
no.
just that relates in your mind. It
Right. But his thoughts, it his thoughts on what he wished would happen to me truly became what he got. I mean,
Yeah, but I don't think that really had anything physiological to do with it. But we always all go back to that. I mean, some of
yeah.
us are going to have diseases. Nobody's thoughts cause them.
No, not cause them that way, but what I'm saying is when you it's a long story and there's not no point in it, but I mean, literally, when you can see somebody that is mirroring things that they wish they happened to you and then they happen to them. I mean, and one of them was, he always said, I'm going to try to put you in the psych ward. Well, I didn't go there, but he went there for 3 years. So that's just one point. Okay. That's
Mm.
one actual point. I mean, he's delusional to think that I would go there, but he ended up being there. So, it's just one of those things where be careful when you want things to
Be
happen to other
careful
people.
what you wish for.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because it can backfire. I mean, my kids had a front row to the whole thing, and it's just sad. It's just sad when you worry and you're trying to be vindictive to others, and then things come back to you. So it
Yeah.
just serves no purpose. Serves no purpose.
Pay forward or you charge forward. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
right.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about life. We all have our bad days. Okay.
Hmm.
I have one ever. Yeah. Anyway, we all have our bad days. We say things we shouldn't. We think things we shouldn't. I don't
Yep.
know a person on the face of this earth that doesn't do that.
Right.
It's, you just have to deal with your inner self. And I think that's it a lot of times. I think we try to deal more with the outer realm than we try to deal with ourselves. If you
Yep.
get yourself in the right place, you have a whole lot better chance of having that group of friends or acquaintances that are in the same place you are.
Right. And I love that point, because when we're worried so much about on the outside of what's going on and not the inside, you can't do two tasks at the same time. One good one cancels out the bad one, and vice versa. I mean, if you're in a bad mood, you can't think happy thoughts, and if you're happy thoughts, you're not thinking bad. So again, I think it's, where do you want to direct your mind today? Do you want a shit show or do you want a good show? And I mean, you got to take that stance and change your thoughts so that you can live with whatever the outcome is.
I mean, we have a group here, and I'm sure it's all over the country, next door neighbors.
Uh-huh.
I mean, some of the crap they put on there is so menial and so stupid and so demeaning to themselves. They
Yeah.
look like they feel like they're venting. You don't vent to public forums like that. I want to go in and just start jacking a few words myself and tell them how stupid they are. But
But
between
then
that,
they'll look at you as you're stupid for doing it.
I mean, take care of your own box first, okay? And the thing about it is, I try not to complain about things I can't control. I mean, I'm
Right.
going to be real, not being political. The government right now sucks. The economy sucks. We could go on and on and
Right.
on with this list. I have no control. I have
Yeah.
control of this box. I have control of those puppies. And just my mouth is the main thing I have the control over, especially since I talk on here so much. But the thing about it is, it's these people trying to control their neighbors, trying to control the country, trying to control the economy. Take care of your box. And if everybody would do their own, and if Facebook would just cut out half the crap, I think we'd all be better off. That's why I don't look at it that much.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think if everybody would realize that, listen to everybody wants to be heard. So sometimes that's what those neighbor things are. But again, it's you should pay attention to what they're saying because they're saying so much about them.
Mm-hmm.
Read what they're writing, see what they're saying, but seeing like, and then you got those, what do they call it? Keyboard something or another.
Idiots.
That too, but keyboard wizards or no. I forget what it's called, but basically those ones that hide behind the keyboards, that are more, more powerful with their little mighty words than they would if they were in front of you, the ones that hide behind the keyboard.
It's just, and that's where I think karma, if we're going to play, we're in karma. I think eventually karma's going to come back to bite some of these people. Trolls. That's a good one, Robert.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They
Trolls.
are a lot of times, they're sitting there just waiting to comment on something. And I know they're doing it because it's within seconds of the first one. And if it didn't pop up a little thing on my computer, which a lot of times I'm waiting on something. If I want a contractor or something, I usually ask my neighborhood first.
Yeah.
So if I'm waiting on something to come up, it's when I'll see it because I'm looking for something on that particular site. But I mean, they talk, yeah. Anyway, let's take a new subject because this one's going down a rabbit hole. But,
just release Jerry on them for a minute. Yeah. I love that idea. Jerry will set their asses straight.
We've always had this thing. If there's two people across the street, one's a smart man and one's an idiot. When you're on the other side of the street, nobody knows who the idiot is. So I just kind of always look at that. But yeah, it's I think some people are just so bored that they have nothing better to do than knock down the people around them. Now, I mean, if they want to jump on me, have at it, buckwheat. I'm here.
Wait, I think you meant to say I resent that remark, or he resembles
I resemble that remark.
Okay. Oh boy.
That's one of his sayings when something is said that is much like him. I resemble that remark. But
I didn't know if it was a typo, so I was just double checking.
No, I knew exactly what he was talking about. But yeah, and we always, a lot of times, like you say, you show your own stupidity as well as screw with the karma aspect when you start arguing. I mean, again, who can tell who the idiot is if he gets into it? I mean, I love these people that get on these text fights and they're sitting there and it's like, just call them, tell them off and get it over with.
Yeah. Well, to me,
writing, for God's sake.
That's what I was going to say. To me, I'd rather call you and bitch things out. People, it's hearsay, but to write that shit down, no, that stuff is like screenshot. Got it.
I had a lawyer tell me one time, never put anything in writing that you can't sit in front of a superior court judge and testify to. And let me tell you, that's helped me out a lot of times when I wanted to do something.
That might be a reason why I have like a whole tote of empty notebooks. Like, I don't know who's going to see this later. Shit, those diaries when you were young, your brothers knew how to freaking hack that stuff and read your stuff. I never wrote nothing in there. I wasn't going to have that against me.
Theodore said the hardest place is to wait for karma to do the job, though. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Is it hard? This sounds terrible, but when you're a get even instead of get mad person, you can kind of help karma along. You don't have to do it in public. You can just help karma along. Maybe I'm karma's right-hand man. I don't know. But yeah,
Your karma's fairy godmother.
I definitely have a few people that I'm sitting here thinking, okay, and I'm not evil, but I have the thoughts. So karma's going to bite me in the ass one day. There's a few people I sit there and think, okay, what could I do to nudge karma? Okay. Is that good or bad? I don't know. Maybe she'll forgive me. And yes, she is a she. I do terribly believe that karma is a she. Most guys are not that vindictive. So
Well, most guys, they forget it, like when
most guys don't hear it, Lynn. Give me a break.
yeah, that too. Yeah, they're like, they turn you off like the radio.
My mom used to get angry at my dad a lot. And I mean, we had this little 5-foot woman with a 6-foot tall man that would shake her finger right in his face. And I asked him one day how he could put up with that. And he looked at me and said, "Put up with what?" I had not heard a word that she said. So, you know, that's the bit. I wish other people a lot of times would do that on certain circumstances. It's just a matter of hearing what you need to hear and leaving the rest alone.
And the first clue, ladies, is when you're talking to them and say, "Well, I'm going to go do this now." You're going to do what? Well, I told you. Oh, I didn't hear that. That's your first clue. Yeah, and like Bob says right here, it is selective hearing. He's been married for like over 30 years. So,
If it's something I really want you to hear, I'll sit and try to, I don't want to use the word force, but I'll look for a response. I'll look, or either I'll wait, ask, "Did you hear what I said?" And then I always love the answer when they say yes. And then you ask, "What was it?"
like deer the headlights. Like when I uh
But we all do it. I say men. I'm as guilty as others. And the higher up the disc scale you are, the higher D you are, the harder it is for you to listen. You talk about selective hearing, Robert Ward. Let me tell you, a high D has very selective hearing, very. And so I have to be really careful because, like I say, I'm a 99D. So I have to actively make myself listen. And a lot of people don't. I do. I'll tell
see
you.
now listen to him, he said yes, dear. you know and some selective hearing for guys, you hear ama and they'd hear a D, but obviously there's nobody with a 99D size, so so you heard that wrong, guys.
You never know. I had a guy tell me he was 3D one time, and I thought that was kind of curious. But
There is such thing as 3D though.
that wasn't what he was talking about. So he is actually one of our people that we recommend for web designing and stuff like that, and or web keeping up with it. I can't even think what I want to call him today, but
A webmaster. This
pretty much
is what they used to call them back in the day. I don't know what they call them now.
he actually owns that he doesn't do it, so I don't think. But yeah, karma's going to be kind of ill on us. Number one, it took me a long time to get in because I was tied up, and I hope we haven't tied anybody up too long by going on with our annex.
Oh, no, I loved it. I loved it. It was hilarious. I loved it. Well, you guys, I think we beat karma to the pulp today. Oh my gosh. It's hilarious.
I'll work on something better next week, guys.
Yeah, no, everybody's been staying with us for a little bit, so I don't think anybody's complaining. But seriously, it's like anything, don't put labels to things, but definitely karma is can be a lot of different things. And then sometimes, hey, maybe next week we'll talk about Murphy's Law. I don't know. But that's a negative subject, so maybe not. But anyways, any last words, Sheryl?
Karma's a bitch.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for staying with us. We appreciate you. And Cheryl,
Um,
I love you.
I love you too. Have a great one, dear. And everybody out there in this listening world, have a great one also.
Okay, we'll see you next week. Have a great day, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound.